it's Brock here from Rock Hill Farms, and I'm with Jeff from the Watkins tree farm. We did a video together a while back. He has a similar tree farm to mine. As far as we started around the same time, we've got about the same number of trees. We both have John Deere tractors, and we started YouTube channels about the same time. So we really have a lot in common, and he's here today to help me with spring planting, which is a pretty big job, and I can really appreciate the help. He's also going to teach me a couple things, because the only trees I've planted came in a root ball with a dirt pack and were easy to plant. I probably still should have put some fertilizer or something on them, but with those, all I did was make a little hole, drop them in, and smash the dirt around. What I have in this carryall is an open root tree that takes a little bit more care, and he's going to show me how to do a root dip and fertilizer tab and how to plant that type of tree. And so we'll show you that in this video too. And we're going to try to till this ground, but it's pretty muddy. I don't know if we can. But Jeff, you want to tell them a little bit about your channel and what you do?
Yeah, it's Watkins Tree Farm, and basically I started the channel to kind of document our journey of starting the Christmas tree farm. And along the way I met Brock, and then along the way I also got a 1026R John Deere tractor. You inspired me.
Yeah.
I just couldn't afford the bigger one. But I really like the John Deere 1026. I love the attachments, and I have a lot of videos showing what I can do with that tractor. I'm still learning, and so basically it's just our journey. I have DIY projects on our channel also. I've done a pool deck, I've done fire pit, I'm working on a walking bridge, and it's all for the Watkins Tree Farm, so it all revolves around that. And also I have my tractor videos.
Yeah, so the 1025 is a great tractor too. I just needed something a little bigger for what I do, but you know, I've enjoyed watching his farm grow, and hopefully this is a friendship that we can continue for a long time. So, you ready to get some trees started?
I am. Let's do this.
All right, so we've got the trees on the carryall, and we've got some buckets of water here. I've seen other YouTube channels like Woods Tree Farm where they use the fertilizer tablets and the root dip. I feel like it's something I need to do, but I haven't taken the time to learn it and to get the product ordered. So this, I guess, is a root dip. And so, like, where do you get this and how do you use it?
Well, I got this on the internet, and like you said, I learned this from Woods Tree Farm. It's Die Hard Eco Root Dip. Basically, I took this is a NyQuil measuring tail. I take 2 or 3 of these for half of a 5-gallon bucket. So basically 2.5 gallons, I do 2 or 3 of these. And basically it kind of gels up the water, and once you put your trees into the root dip, it kind of it enhances the growth, and it helps the roots get ready to be planted, and kind of gives it a boost so it's ready to go into the ground.
All right, so let's go ahead and mix some of that up, and then I'll show the kind of trees we're planting. So this is the tree I've always planted, not this variety, but this type, where you get a ball of dirt at the bottom that you just plant. Makes it a little bit simpler. I can't tell you which works better, but I can tell you what's easier and what's cheaper. This is easier. This is a Scotch pine with open roots. Significantly cheaper to buy them this way, but it's more work to plant them. So, you know, that's just what I've seen so far.
Now, with the bare root, like you said, they're not as easy to plant. You have to be careful not to get them planted and the roots sticking up. So the root dip also, when you get all that gel on there, the roots just tend to want to droop down, so that helps a lot with planting too. So I can already tell these are getting a little dried out, so we need to get that in the root dip and get this going.
And a lot of people will cut the roots. So how much can you cut on a root of a small tree like that?
So with your dibble bar, your blade is roughly 12 inches from here to here, and with this ground being soft, we'll probably be north of 12 inches. So basically, I don't go past the end. So like this particular one, I probably will not trim, but I would trim them somewhere between 12 and 15 inches.
Yeah, I've had these for over a week, and I put them in some garden soil to try to keep them moist, but I probably needed to water them another time or two in the time we were waiting to be able to plant.
These fertilizer tablets, once again, you can go on the internet and search them. I don't specifically have a brand or a type, but these are specifically for trees, and they typically last up to 2 years of fertilizing to the roots of the tree. So that's why I feel like it's a must to get these fertilizer tablets in with a tree. Anytime you can give the tree an advantage out here, it's a plus. So I brought what I had left over for Brock, and so we're gonna try to do these for these scotch and see how they work.
I'm really glad Jeff brought this stuff down here. I think between that and the fertilizer tabs, it's gonna help me have a more successful planting. So we're gonna let those soak for a little while. I'm gonna give Jeff a little four-wheeler tour of the property, and then we'll be right back.
Sure.
All right, so it's been a couple hours since we put those trees in the root dip. I've been stalling a little bit. We went and got lunch. Try to let this ground dry out just as much as we can, but it's time to get moving on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop the tiller and till as far as I can till it starts to bog down. So let's get going. Well, you can definitely feel it on the tiller that it's pulling harder in this wet ground than it does when it's dry, but I was able to till this down about where I thought I would be able to, where it's really muddy. And I went ahead and just tilled 2 rows. We're gonna plant 2 rows, and then when we till the next 2 rows, it'll be a little bit drier than it is now. So let's get some trees in the ground.
Well, I believe Brock showed you how to use the dibble bar. It's pretty simple. It's I brought my dibble bars about the same as Brock's. Piece of 3/8 steel with a chamfer on the end and a big old heavy duty foothold. And this ground is so soft, you don't even hardly need the foothold. And you just make a nice, man alive, I wish my ground was like this. Holy cow. So then you get your hole like that, and you pick a Christmas tree. So I recommend we take this root. I might trim a few more off there. Okay, so we got the tree, and I'm gonna put it down, and I just see, you just work it in there. Make sure all the roots are pointing down, and then I'm gonna take this and see how you work it down in there and make that hole cover up. And then I'm gonna find some of this good stuff here. Man, this is wet. Very wet, holy cow.
Yeah, I'm almost surprised that we were able to even till this. It's wet ground. I mean, you can hear it when you walk.
So this is a tablet that we talked about earlier, and they say that they'll feed the tree up to 2 years. So we'll put that down there by the roots, and we'll bring this in here, and we'll do the best we can.
So if you're thinking about doing what we're doing and planting Christmas trees, the little bit I've learned about this is that these trees are much more cost effective, and you have a nice spread out root, so I think they might even have a better chance of doing well. They're less expensive, but they're more work to plant because you have to be careful about the way you get those roots in the ground. Or if you watched my other planting video with the dirt pods, I just kind of dropped them in because it's kind of a contained unit that fills the hole. So that's kind of the pros and cons to these kind of trees. And if you're doing a lot of them, I probably for the same number of trees, probably saved $600 by getting these bare root trees. So.
And they also make a Scotch pine 2+1, and they're about twice as tall, and they're maybe twice the price, but it's still only, I don't know, $1.30, something like that, a tree. And you kind of gain a couple years on trees. But these are good looking trees.
I got these smaller ones because I waited too long to order, and this was all that was left in this type of tree. Those pod trees that I got that are firs were about $3 a piece, so you can see a pretty huge price difference there. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up some of the footage of where we planted these trees. Jeff's about 4 hours from me, and this wasn't the only thing we were trying to get done today. We also made a video for his channel, and with how long the drive is each way, he only had, a half day to spend here, and we needed to let those roots soak for a while. So we got a couple rows planted, and then I had my daughter come over, and we spent the rest of the evening and a little bit the next day, and we got all 500 of these trees planted, which gives me a total of 760 trees in the ground. That was 260 last fall and 500 the last couple of days. The two factors that determine how much we need to plant are the amount of room that we have for trees and what we think the demand will be. I'm kind of in between 500 and 1,000 as far as how many I want to plant every year, but it's really just a guess until we start selling trees. My target for this year was to do 500 in the spring and 500 in the fall, and I kind of want to see which we have a better success rate. And that will tell us when to plant. The next thing is finding out how much to plant, and we may have to sell pre-cut trees to determine what the demand in the area is. Alright, well Jeff's getting ready to go, and I've still got some planting to do, but I really appreciate you coming down to help. We've already got a couple more rows in the ground, and he's taught me a little bit. He's brought me the root dip and the fertilizer tabs that I'm going to use as I go. And so I really want everyone to go check out Jeff's channel at the Watkins Tree Farm.
But it was a pleasure. You got a nice place here. I'm looking forward to coming back and helping you again.
Like I said a couple times earlier in the video, I really appreciate Jeff, who's become a friend of mine, for coming down here and helping me get started. We now have all the trees planted. There's actually about 20 trees left at the end of this row in a bucket that we're going to stick in the ground real quick, but the sun's setting and I wanted to be able to get this on camera before it got dark. So I appreciate you taking time to watch the video. In a minute you'll see links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.